Hey, this is Kenny's Audiophile Record Reviews. Thank you very much for viewing my video. As always, please like and subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button. That'll help out my channel analytics. In this video, I was originally going to review 3 jazz CDs as part of my jazz CD review series. I'm going to still do that near the end of this video, but a couple of days ago, this album arrived. The Analogue Productions Acoustic Sounds speed-corrected 2 LP set version of Miles Davis, Kinda Blue. So I thought I'd give a brief commentary on this record, who I think is really meant for, in my opinion. I originally was not going to buy this album because the speed-corrected version was included as part of the Miles Davis reissue UHQR sets. If you have the 33 1/3 Miles Davis Kinda Blue UHQR set issued by Analogue Productions Acoustic Sounds, or the 45 RPM UHQR set, that has a speed-corrected version on the sets already. So I really did not need this particular one, but I decided to get it anyway. It's just cool to have the speed-corrected version and the original version all in one package. And this is the limited edition version of the album. This is a blue variant version. The blue variant version is limited to 1,500 copies. It costs $75. There's a normal black vinyl variant that costs $65. I'll show you the contents of this 2 LP set, what's on each side, and give my opinion of this 2 LP set issued by Analogue Productions Acoustic Sounds. Again, this is the front of the cover. Take this cover sleeve off. Again, it's limited to 1,500 copies. The blue variant, I'm number 115. You see right there. And again, it is blue vinyl. Looks spectacular, by the way. My vinyl was totally flat. And I'll get into sound hopefully in a few minutes, compared to at least the UHQR versions that I have. But that's the back of the cover. Now, side 1, again, is a 2 LP set, contains a speed-corrected version of Miles Davis's Kinda Blue. Now, the speed error affected 3 songs. Now, the speed error, the exact error was the tape machine that recorded So What, Freddie Freeloader, and Blue and Green was running at 1 1/4% too slow during that recording session. That is a speed error. So side 1 contains the speed corrected version of So What, Freddie Freeloader, and Blue and Green. Side 2 is a normal side 2, which features all blues and flamenco sketches. Side 3 is the original speed version of Miles Davis Kinda Blue, the speed error version, I should say, that was issued in 1959. So What, Freddie Freeloader, and Blue and Green. Side 4 features flamenco sketches. It features a 45 RPM alternate take of flamenco sketches. I'll show you the back. Hopefully those songs are coming out so you can see the album layout, 2 album layout. And that is the back of the cover. Inside of the gatefold, mine came with a very small seam split, but it wasn't egregious enough for me to trip and send it back. I get seam splits every now and I get to the point that sometimes it's normal. That one didn't bother me at all. Very nice pictures in the middle of the gatefold, by the way. It also comes with this very nice booklet. There's the front of the booklet and the back. And again, the speed issue was that the tape machine was running at about 1 1/4% too slow during the recording session of the songs So What, Freddie Freeloader, and Blue and Green. Now, when you listen to the speed corrected version versus the original speed version, the differences in the nuances between the speed corrected version and the original speed version are very subtle. It's almost like you have to be like a professional musician to really just discern and tell the differences in nuances of the sound of the instruments during the differences of the two versions. I could tell, but just a little bit. So it's very subtle, in my opinion. But to a professional musician, I mean, a finely tuned professional musician, they can probably tell relatively easy. But I think it's cool that they include both versions in one package. I'm going to get to who it's for in a second, but I'm going to get to the sound. The sound of this album, both albums, in my opinion, are exceptional. The speed corrected version and the original version, they sound great. They really do. I was listening to mine on a Rega P8 turntable with a Apheta 3 cartridge, and the sound is really, really good. Again, my version, the blue version, costs $75. The black normal version costs $65. This is not a promo. I paid for mine. Again, mine's a limited edition. I'm number 115. And like I said, this was not a necessity for me because I have both UHQRs, a 33 1/3 and a 45 RPM. I thought this was just, sometimes you buy something, it could be a watch, something else that you're into. That's simply just cool to have, even if you don't need it. And I thought this would be a cool thing to have an all-inclusive package that included the speed corrected version and the original version. And I thought it'd be cool to get the the limited edition. Like I said, I originally was not going to buy this because I had the speed corrected version already. Matter of fact, they issued speed corrected versions, I think, since the late 90s or something like that, in CD formats and maybe some LP formats as well. So it's not necessarily a new thing, but it is a new thing when Analogue Productions Acoustic Sounds comes out with their version of the album, because their offering sounds outstanding for a 33 1/3 album, in my opinion. Now, what is better, the UHQR or this version? I'm going to take the UHQR versions because the UHQR versions, there's a boost in sonics and detail and nuances, and echo and delay is a lot more grander and more fine and more like in the room. But this version, the speed corrected version of the album, again, which is includes a speed corrected version and the original speed version, a 45 RPM version or alternate take of flamenco sketches at 45 RPM. This sounds great. Now, the 45 RPM version of flamenco sketches at 45 RPM sounds outstanding. I think you had, gosh, if I recall, Julian Cannonball Adderley in one speaker, John Coltrane in another speaker. I believe Miles was in the center of the soundstage, and a 45 RPM alternate take of flamenco sketch. And I believe Bill Evans could have been in the left speaker, if I recall, and the bass could have been like somewhere in between the right speaker and the center of the sound stage. But that's the 45 RPM alternate take of flamenco sketches sounded outstanding, in my opinion. Now, who is this for? I think this is probably for the Miles Davis aficionado, the completist, fans of Miles Davis Kind of Blue, which I'm a fan of this album. Like I said, I have both UHQR versions of it, the 45 RPM 33 1/3. I also have the mobile fidelity version of Miles Davis Kind of Blue, which sounds quite good as well. But this is probably for somebody who does not have a lot of copies or pressings of Miles Davis's Kind of Blue, or maybe none at all. And if you want an all-inclusive, complete package, perhaps this is for you. I'm highly satisfied with mine because it sounds fantastic. It includes both versions, albeit the average fan might have difficulty discerning the difference between the speed corrected and original speed versions. But I think it's something that is cool to have if you're a Miles Davis fan. I'm completely satisfied with mine. A great value. Like I said, I paid $75 for the limited edition version. But like I said, I paid for mine. It's not a promo copy, and the black variant is $65. But I thought I would present that to my audience. Like I said, I originally was not going to purchase that one because I have both UHQRs, but that is a limited edition. They've been making limited edition records for years. I know a lot of people don't like these limited edition records. They've been making them for years. Here's an example. Now, this is not a jazz album, by the way. This is Pete Seeger. I'm a big Pete Seeger fan. I'm going to mention this before I get to the jazz CD reviews. We Sing. This is Pete Seeger. Now, I think this came out, according to Discogs, in 1955-56. This was issued by MDH Records. And in the back, you see this is number 87 out of 500. This was issued in 1955-56. They've been making limited edition records for years. Bought this at a thrift store for $2. Can't wait to listen to this, but I love Pete Seeger. Back to the jazz, and we're going to briefly talk about 3 CDs, very briefly. This one is actually a SACD, and is Ray Brown Trio. The Ray Brown Trio, live at the Loa, features Gene Harris, piano, Jeff Hamilton, drums, Ray Brown bass. This is a live recording. My version is a hybrid SACD, a multi-channel SACD. Hybrid meaning it has a CD layer, SACD layer. Both layers sound fantastic. There's some sensational performances on this album. If you want to hear Ray Brown really get down on this traditional jazz CD, this is like people in like real traditional jazz. Listen to, on this song, listen to the song, The Real Blues. And I believe if I recall at the beginning of that song, Ray Brown is just getting down on that bass. He has a nice solo on that. And Gene Harris also has a very nice solo on that song called The Real Blues. And also there is a very nice, gosh, I forgot the name of the song, but Gene Harris solos spectacularly on this CD on a lot of songs, in my opinion. Oh, Bluesology, I think, is the name of the song. It's the last song. It's called Bluesology. Those are the songs. I don't think it's going to come out on the video because the text is so small. But Bluesology, Gene Harris plays great on piano. He solos great on that song. But if you want to listen to this CD, listen to the song Real Blues first. This was a live recording. This was issued on CD in 1990. It was recorded in 1988 in Santa Monica, California at this venue called the Loa. I believe that's how you pronounce it. This one, performance a 9. The sound between an 8.5 and 9 because the soundstage is in between the speakers. It doesn't go beyond that point. It was recorded relatively well for a live recording. I mean, it's not like Jazz at the Pawn Shop, that magnificent recording. But this is quite good. And if you like traditional jazz, check this one out. As I always say, check out the music on the internet or YouTube before you consider purchasing this music, because your taste in music might be different than mine. But this was a very nice listening session in terms of live jazz. The Ray Brown Trio live at the Loa. This was issued Concord Jazz, I believe. The next one I'm going to briefly talk about is somebody I normally wouldn't talk about on my channel, but is Lee Ritenour. And the name of the CD is Stolen Moments. This was issued on GRP Records. Hopefully the song listing is coming out. The musicians of note on this CD are Ernie Watts, Harvey Mason, John Petitucci, I always mispronounce his name, Alan Broadbent, Mitch Holder. And there are very nice performances, underrated performances by Lee Ritenour on the CD. A lot of people do not like contemporary jazz or smooth jazz, and this CD might kind of have a little bit of foot in contemporary jazz. But there are some very nice jazz moments on the CD, like the song Stolen Moments, where you have very nice solos by Ernie Watts on tenor sax and Lee Ritenour on guitar. Lee Ritenour plays great on this CD. And also the song, where's the song? Blue and Green is a very nice, that's a Miles Davis song if I recall. Their version of the song on this CD is very good as well. And this is a very nice performance. It's so nice I decided to include this in a jazz CD review. Like I said, I normally don't talk about Lee Ritenour, but I thought I'd do something different in the CDs on a couple of these jazz review CDs. The performance is a solid 9. Check out Lee Ritenour's performance on this CD. And also Ernie Watts on tenor sax solos quite well, in my opinion. The sound is 8.5. This is not the greatest digital recording, but I characterize it as very good. Lee Ritenour, Stolen Moments. Stolen Moments, that great Oliver Nelson composition, by the way. And I believe I spoke about this in another video. I don't know if I talk about the CD or LP, but I'll talk about it anyway. Flora Purim. The name of the CD is Stories to Tell. This was originally released in LP format. I have it somewhere up there in my collection, I believe in 1974. And this CD features Airto, Oscar Brasher, please forgive me, I'm mispronouncing some of these names, Ron Carter, Rule Souza, George Duke, and a host, Earl Klugh, Oscar Neves, Carlos Santana, Miroslav Vitos, and a few other musicians on this CD. And I'm a big fan of Flora. She is out of Brazil. She is wife of Airto Moreira, the great Brazilian jazz percussionist. I'll show you the song listing. I hope it's going to come out. If not, I'm sorry. But I'll tell you the songs of note, the songs that you want to concentrate on. Now, Flora Purim has a very unique and different voice when it comes to jazz. Again, she is from Brazil. She is good with scatting and wordless vocals. But the songs of note on this CD are Casa Forte, Insensitez, and Vera Cruz. I think Sergio Mendes in Brazil 66 have a very nice version of Casa Forte. The Sergio Mendes version of Casa Forte in Brazil 66, Sergio Mendes in Brazil 66, that might be the very best version of Casa Forte that I ever heard. And Vera Cruz on this CD is quite good. Flora Purim, Stories to Tell, where I'm giving the performance 8.5 and the sound an 8 for a digital representation of the album. It's good, but not great, but worth investigating, in my opinion, if you're not familiar with Flora Purim and her voice and her style. Those are the CDs and the Miles Davis album that I wanted to present on this video. If you purchase this Miles Davis album, please leave your comments in the comment section below. If you didn't purchase, please say why. Now, some of you are going to say, Kenny, you know what? They keep on reissue all these jazz records over and over again. They're recycling all these jazz records over and over again. They need to come up with something new. Here's my philosophy opinion on that. If they come out with something you don't like, just ignore it. Just wait till they come out with something that you actually like. They're reissuing records every single week. All of them are not going to be to your liking, but the ones that are not to my liking, I just ignore them and just keep on moving until something else comes out, and hopefully have the money to buy it. But that's my opinion on that, in terms of them recycling these old albums over and over again, you know, reissuing Kind of Blue over and over again, some of these other jazz records. They're issuing records every week, you know, as part of the Blue Note Tone Poet series, Tone Poet Classic series, Craft Recordings, Impex Records. They come out with jazz records all the time, every week. Please leave your comments on the comment section below. Thank you very much for viewing my video. God bless, strong love, and more important than the music, let's keep the peace worldwide.